first thing I actually wanted to start with is a little bit of a twist here. Why is it that larger, let's say enterprise level organizations, without naming names, don't automatically have best in class security? I mean, I kind of joked about it on the landing page invitations for this webinar. They should have unlimited budget to be able to throw out these problems. They should be able to court really highfalutin security folks and the best and brightest minds in security to come on their team. And so if you've got all the money for all the tech and you've got all of the potential capability of wooing the best minds, why is it that larger organizations can be outclassed by smaller ones that do it right?
I guess I'll get started. And one of the things I'm reminded of is an article from a while back, which is we don't need another InfoSec rockstar. That was the title of the article. And I appreciated it so much. But I also just think that a lot of the people who really get stuff done in InfoSec are probably not the people who are, loud and the rock stars of the industry, right? They are smart people who have seen a lot of things, who think about problems the right way, who have a proper problem-solving methodology, and they really tackle that. And so, attracting talent is always important, right? Truly, but it's not a rock star that I necessarily look for, right? I'm not looking for someone who has like a big famous blog, or, a bajillion Twitter followers. If Twitter is still a thing by the time this podcast airs, we'll see.
Mastodon then. Not into Mastodon.
Yeah, we just flip a coin every few minutes to see if we get like five heads in a row, like Twitter goes down again. I don't know. So, no, but
large followings aren't important.
Large followings are not what's important. It's people who know how to tackle tough challenges, who have the ability to understand technical content, who are constantly learning. These are the kinds of people who excel in InfoSec. And I don't believe in rock stars, and I don't even necessarily believe in hiring out of cybersecurity programs right now, which is a bit ironic, right? Because I actually did graduate from one of those. But that tells you a lot, right? I look very carefully at those programs. I know how much people want to come out of those and go and land an InfoSec job instantly, but there's just so much context that they need to understand about networking, about servers, about how a business runs, right? That they don't get loaded up for. So I think that's one of the big things. The other thing I'll just say, just from my own dealings in incident response, is just because you have the fanciest, like top of line tooling off the shelf, right, kind of means nothing if you didn't configure it properly. You don't have the proper team around it, right? Like getting the fancy tooling is not what makes the InfoSec program. And I know a lot of software vendors in the security space would like to try to tell me otherwise, as they try to continue to sell me things. But building proper process and getting proper configuration around those tools is way more important. And actually just having that in-house expertise on a tool makes up so much difference. And so if you just throw money at it, I don't think that's what solves it. The best InfoSec teams are the ones who handle their technical debt, because that exists in InfoSec, and they build proper processes and they understand how to utilize the technology properly. So those are the two things that I think are really important.
Amanda, I actually think you and I have had a conversation about this at some point, and I'm going to blend some conversations we've had previously, but allow me to bastardize and paraphrase this. Companies should focus more on hiring the right and training up the right people and not try to compensate for a lack of in-house labor and talent by hiring outside consultants in the latest fancy gear, because it takes maintenance and setting it up and following through on those recommendations. And no amount of fancy consultant is going to be able to make you follow through on those 3, 6, 12 months down the road. And I'm pinging you with this because I know you used to be one of those very fancy consultants.
It's a fine line. I want to say that we're walking a fine line here, because in a less mature information security organization, there is absolutely a space for hiring of outside talent, third-party consultants. Even in a larger organization, there are economies of scale, right? Where the ability to get things done, because you're large, you can get more licenses of a technology, or, et cetera. I can't say that there is not a right time for that, because sometimes there is, regardless of the size of your organization. What Daniel is getting at is, when you're looking at your own information security program, sometimes it's about getting the right people, not the rock stars with the blogs and infinite experience. Sometimes it's about getting the right mindset, the people who are passionate about the information security. They're passionate, they're curious, they're learning constantly. I think you and I have had conversations about, the right information security person is somebody who likes to learn, right? And so you do have to do, I would implore anyone, do the right amount of due diligence, determine the risk, determine the cost of a third party, of a contractor, of an organization that provides, specific types of services for information security, versus having somebody from in-house. They're not the right people. And sometimes that's what it's about, right? So I feel like, Ashley, that I haven't given you an exact answer here. I personally think if you have the option and you have the right person, bringing someone in-house, if you have the budget to do it and you have the ability to do that, is absolutely going to mean you have an invested person who's truly interested in the well-being, the welfare of the organization, of your team, of information security. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the right choice for an organization at the time. And if it comes between having or not having certain, like, threat intelligence or pen testing or whatever, absolutely consider having the third party. Gauge where your organization is at.